Hello students, welcome to another class on History of English Language prescribed for 4th semester BA English Language and Literature by University of Kerala. So in this class I will be introducing Grimm's Law to you in English and Malayalam for your benefit. So Grimm's Law, let's look at what that is. So in the course of this paper you might have already covered Indo-European language family and its different branches. Now you know that Germanic is a very important branch of Indo-European. Germanic. It is from Germanic that we get modern English. So it is of prime importance to students of English language. So Germanic, which is a very important branch of Indo-European language family, it is distinguished by its verbal system, the accent of its words, and the series of sound changes. So we can call these series of sound changes first sound shifting. So first sound shifting is what is attempted to be explained by Grimm's law. So ജർമാനിക്കില് ഇൻഡോ യൂറോപ്യനിൽ നിന്ന് ജർമാനിക്കിലേക്ക് ലാംഗ്വേജ് മാറിയ സമയത്ത് കുറച്ച് സൗണ്ട്സ് ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തു. ആ സൗണ്ട് ചേഞ്ചസ് ആണ് ഗ്രിംസ് ലോ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്നത്. So the alternative name of Grimm's law is first sound shifting. So let's look at who discovered this sound shifting. So first of all, it was a person named Jacob Grimm. So that is why it's called Grimm's law. So he started this research in 1822. He wrote this book, Deutsche Grammatik. So it is mentioned in that book. So he had a contemporary named Rasmus Rask. And Jacob Grimm followed the suggestion of his contemporary, Rasmus Rask. So he tried to formulate an explanation of the changes which Proto-Indo-European plosive consonants underwent in Germanic. So Grimm's law is all about the changes Proto-Indo-European plosive consonants underwent in Germanic. അതായത് പ്രോട്ടോ ഇൻഡോ യൂറോപ്യനിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രോട്ടോ ജർമാനിക്കിലേക്ക് ലാംഗ്വേജ് മാറുന്ന സമയത്ത് പ്രധാനമായിട്ടും അതിലുള്ള പ്ലോസീവ് കോൺസണൻസിന് വന്ന ചേഞ്ചസ്, ആ ചേഞ്ചസിന്റെ എക്സ്പ്ലനേഷൻ ആണ് ഗ്രിംസ് ലോ അറ്റംപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതായത് ലെറ്റ്സ് ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് വാട്ട് പ്ലോസീവ് കോൺസണൻസ് ആർ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ഓൾ. So you know what consonants are. Consonants, during the articulation of consonants, there will be a block in the oral cavity or nasal cavity somehow. So the sound that comes out will have a slight friction. So plosive consonants endaanu vechal, the active articulator and passive articulator will come into firm contact with each other in such a way that there is no space, no gap between them. The air from the lungs is trapped inside the oral cavity for a little bit. After that, all of a sudden, the active articulator and the passive articulator separate, giving rise to an explosive sound. So the air trapped in the mouth escapes with an explosive sound, a plosive sound. Such consonants are called plosive consonants. So plosive consonants എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ആക്റ്റീവ് ആർട്ടിക്കുലേറ്ററും പാസീവ് ആർട്ടിക്കുലേറ്ററും വളരെ അടുത്ത് വരുന്നു, അത് തമ്മിൽ ഒരു ഗ്യാപ്പ് പോലും ഇല്ല, എയർ ഇങ്ങനെ വായിക്കാത്ത സ്റ്റക്കായിട്ട് നിൽക്കുവാണ്. പെട്ടെന്ന് ഈ ആർട്ടിക്കുലേറ്റേഴ്സ് സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അത്രയും നേരം വായിൽ തങ്ങി നിന്ന എയർ ഒരു എക്സ്പ്ലോസീവ് സൗണ്ടോടുകൂടെ പുറത്തേക്ക് പോകുന്നു. അതാണ് പ്ലോസീവ് കോൺസണൻസ്. So these plosive consonants, when they change from Proto-Indo-European to Proto-Germanic, they underwent certain changes. That is what Grimm is trying to explain in Grimm's law. Let's look at these changes. First of all, Indo-European voiced aspirated stops. Stops is another name for plosives. Okay. Voiced sounds and voiceless sounds, I have already told you the difference between them. Voiced sounds are those during the production of which vocal cords will be close together in such a way that the gap between vocal cords will be very narrow. The gap between the vocal cords is called glottis. Glottis is very narrow, so the air will escape with a friction. അതാണ് വോയിസ്ഡ് സൗണ്ട്സ്. വോയിസ്ഡ് സൗണ്ട്സിന്റെ പ്രൊഡക്ഷനിൽ വോക്കൽ കോഡ്സ് വളരെ അടുത്ത് വരുന്നു. ഇടയ്ക്കുള്ള സ്പേസ് ആയ ഗ്ലോട്ടിസ് വളരെ നാരോ ആണ്. അതിനിടയ്ക്കൂടെ എയർ ഒരു ഫ്രിക്ഷനോടുകൂടെ പുറത്തേക്ക് പാസ് ചെയ്യും. Aspirated sounds are sounds when we produce these sounds, a little bit of air is also passed out of the mouth along with the words. For example, it's not b, it's p, th, k. Have you noticed in all these sounds, I am aspirating a little bit of air too. Okay. So Indo-European voiced aspirated stops. P, th, k became Indo-European voiced unaspirated stops. So first change that happens is aspirated to unaspirated. So p, th, k became b, d, g. So these are the changes. P, th, k became b, d, g. This is the first series of changes. Let's look at the second series. So Indo-European voiced unaspirated stops became Indo-European voiceless stops. So voiced ആയിരുന്നു, now it has become voiceless. Okay, let's look at the second series of changes. B, d, g became p, t, k. So this became corresponding voiceless sounds. Voiceless sounds are sounds during the production of which vocal cords are wide apart, glottis is wide, air passes out of the glottis without much audible friction. So, b, d, g became p, t, k. Now, let's look at this third series of changes. So, Indo-European voiceless stops became Indo-European voiceless open sounds. So, let's look at those changes. P, t, k became f, t, h. So, let's look at these series of changes. First of all, p, th, k became b, d, g. B, d, g became p, t, k. P, t, k became f, t, h. So these are the changes formulated by Grimm, where he tries to explain how Indo-European plosive consonants underwent changes when it converted into Germanic. And we can explain these series of changes involving Grimm's law with these examples. Let's look at the first series of changes. P, th, k became b, d, g. Okay, here I am supposed to use vertical slashes to say that these are sounds or phonemes. Okay. So let's look at the first change. P to b. Prata in some Sanskrit becomes brother in English. So p became b. Let's look at the second one. Th to d. Madhya in Sanskrit became middle in English. So th became d. Let's look at the third change. Kh became g. Khamsa in Sanskrit became goose in English. Kh became g. Let's look at the second series of changes. B, d, g changes to p, t, k. Let's look at each of those changes too. First of all, b became p. Cannabis in Latin became hemp in English. Here there is a b which is changed to p. Okay, let's look at the second change. D became t. Deccan in Latin became 10 in English. So there's a d here and there's a t here. And the third one is g became k. Genu in Latin became kni. In Old English, it was still, the K was still pronounced. So, genu became kni. G became k. Alright, let's look at the third series of changes. P, T, K became F, T, H. P, T, K became F, T, H. So the first change is P became F. Let's look at this. Pisces became fish. P became F. Same. Pita in Sanskrit became father in English. P became F. And let's look at the second example, second instance. T became T. Tress in Latin became tree in English. T became th here. And let's look at the third instance. K will transform to H. Canis in Latin became hand in English. Even though it is written with a C here, it is pronounced as K. So K became H. So these are the three examples for all these changes. So this is a very important topic, Grimm's law. Once again, Grimm's law tries to explain the changes which Proto-Indo-European plosive consonants underwent in Germanic. So let's move on to Verner's law. So, there were many comparative studies between Indo-European and Germanic language, and after all these studies, conducting all these studies, Grimm formulated his famous theory, Grimm's law, which explained the first sound shifting. So it explained many changes, but there were certain exceptions to it. ഇപ്പൊ ഗ്രിംസ് ലോയ്ക്ക് കുറച്ച് എക്സെപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഒരുപാട് ചേഞ്ചസ് ഗ്രിംസ് ലോയ്ക്ക് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞെങ്കിലും അതിന് ചില എക്സെപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Let's look at what the exceptions are. See here, there is a change which is signified here. Kentum became 100. Okay, ഇവിടെ k became h. But according to the logic of Grimm's law, T should actually change. T should become T, right? But did it become T? No. T did not become T. It became D. അപ്പം എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഇവിടെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ചേഞ്ച് നടന്നില്ല? So the change which is told will happen in Grimm's law did not happen in the middle of this word. So that is an instance of exception. So kentum എന്നുള്ളത് 100 ആയി. Originally Grimm's law rules അനുസരിച്ച് വരുവാണ് kentum should have become 100. Instead of 100, it should have become 100. T should have changed to th. So Grimm himself was puzzled by this lack of correspondence. So he started working on it, but it was later in 1875. His disciple Carl Verner explained this exception. So because he discovered this exception, it has been named after him as Verner's law. So let's look at Verner. What did Verner say the reason was why this change did not take place in Kentum? ഇയാള് അതിനെ മെയിൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ള വില്ലനായിട്ട് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചത് സ്ട്രെസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യത്തിനെയാണ്. സ്ട്രെസ് ഓർ ആക്സെന്റ്. So stress or accent is the main villain behind this problem. Stress or accent is the reason why the T in Kentum did not become T. So the explanation is, in Indo-European, the accent did not fall on, if the accent did not fall on the vowel immediately preceding the consonant in question, these voiceless stop sounds become voiced sounds in Germanic. I'll explain that in detail. So let's look at where we put stress in this particular word, in this particular word, kentum. Okay, so the stress is actually in kentum. Stress is on the second syllable. ഇവിടെയാണ് സ്ട്രെസ് വരുന്നത്. കെൻറ്റം ടം എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിലാണ് സ്ട്രെസ് വരുന്നത്. So the stress is on the second syllable, tum. So the Verner discovered that there was a condition in which only in which Grimm's law becomes possible. But Grimm's lawയിൽ പറയുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ സംഭവിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷൻ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചത് വേണർ ആണ്. വേണർ പറഞ്ഞൊരു കാര്യം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഗ്രിംസ് ലോയിൽ പറയുന്ന ചേഞ്ചസ് നടക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ഈ ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കേണ്ട സിലബിളിന്റെ ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കേണ്ട സൗണ്ടിന്റെ തൊട്ട് മുന്നത്തെ സിലബിളിൽ സ്ട്രെസ് വീഴണം. സോ വേർണർ ഡിസ്കവേർഡ് ദാറ്റ് in order for the change which Grimm said should take place, in order for Grimm's law changes to take place, the stress should fall on the preceding syllable of the sound in question. അപ്പോൾ ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കേണ്ട സൗണ്ടിന്റെ തൊട്ട് മുന്നത്തെ സിലബിളിൽ സ്ട്രെസ് വീഴണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ ചേഞ്ച് നടക്കില്ല. പകരം ദിസ് വുഡ് ബിക്കം voiced. Ter would become voiced. So that is what happened, because in this word kentum, the stress should have fallen on ken for the change to take place, but the stress did not fall on ken, it fell on tum. So because the stress did not fall on the preceding syllable, the changes expounded by Grimm did not take place. The changes which were discovered by Grimm did not take place. Therefore, ter did not transform into the. Instead, it became voiced into de. Ter ആയി മാറാതെ അത് voiced ആയി മാറി ter de ആയി മാറി. Kentum became 100 because of the stress. Stress should have been in the syllable immediately preceding the sound in question, but it did not happen. So that was an explanation of Verner's law. So Verner discovered that stress or accent is the reason why certain exceptions were happening in Grimm's law. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope you understood this lesson on Grimm's law and Verner's law. So thank you for your attention, and see you again in another video. Bye.